We had a feeling this announcement was going to come. We just weren't sure when this announcement was going to come. Late Tuesday night, we saw Caitlin Clark hold her groin. We saw Caitlin Clark dig her head in the stanchion. We saw Stephanie White after the game say Caitlin felt something. Yesterday, after the New York Liberty, she revealed that imaging showed, maybe we should sit her down. Caitlin Clark, unfortunately, is going to miss WNBA All-Star Game and the three-point contest because of the groin injury.
Caitlin Clark won't be playing in the WNBA All-Star Game. Let that sink in. The biggest draw in the history of women's basketball, the player whose face is plastered across every hotel, billboard, and airport banner in Indianapolis, is now benched for the league's most important weekend. And it's not just because of bad luck. It's because of something much worse, systemic failure at the top of the WNBA. Adam Silver just sounded the alarm, and make no mistake, this wasn't a friendly suggestion, it was a warning. Caitlin Clark's groin injury isn't just a medical issue. It's a league-defining crisis, and if things don't change fast, this league might not survive the fallout.
We do start our show, though, with unfortunate news out of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark announced today that she will miss both the three-point contest and the WNBA All-Star Game this upcoming weekend in Indiana after re-aggravating a groin injury in that final minute of Tuesday's win over the Connecticut Sun. Clark had missed 4 games and the Commissioner's Cup final with that groin injury earlier this month, and now will be out for this weekend's festivities, which really stinks for fans.
Caitlin Clark announced that she's out of the three-point contest and the All-Star Game after re-aggravating a groin injury late in the Fever's win over the Connecticut Sun. But this isn't just any weekend. This is the CBA negotiation weekend, the most pivotal moment in recent WNBA history. The current collective bargaining agreement expires in October 2025, and talks are already rocky. With labor tensions climbing and threats of a lockout looming, the absence of the league's biggest star from its showcase event is a total disaster. Adam Silver didn't mince words. He said, "I want Caitlin treated fairly." That's diplomatic language for fix this before we have to intervene. Because here's the truth. The NBA has a vested interest in the WNBA's success. And when the top star is getting beat up game after game with no protection, the warning sirens start blaring.
I'll leave the specific question about the foul to my colleague, Commissioner Engelbert. I mean, I other than as a fan, obviously, it's nothing new in basketball that there's sort of welcome to the league moments, especially for heralded rookies. But of course, I want to see Caitlin treated fairly.
Let's talk about the woman at the center of this storm, WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. Christine Brennan, one of the most respected voices in sports journalism, ripped her publicly, not for one misstep, but for a pattern of evasive, passive behavior. According to Brennan, Engelbert can't even talk about Caitlin Clark without bringing up Angel Reese, even when the topic is only Clark. That's not balance, that's deflection. When Marina Mabrey shoved Clark to the ground after a dead ball, Engelbert stayed silent. The refs only issued a technical, and it wasn't until public outrage erupted that the league upgraded it to a flagrant 2. Engelbert didn't lead. She followed the mob. And when asked about officiating complaints, Engelbert had the audacity to say, "It's interesting that no winning team ever complains about the refs. That's not leadership, that's arrogance. That's someone more worried about protecting the league's image than its players."
But in terms of the comments, in terms of the way the commissioner, Cathy Engelbert, who I've known and I like, the way she has trouble talking about Caitlin Clark, or if she's asked about Caitlin, then she will say, well, Caitlin and Angel. Well, she wasn't asked about Angel, she was asked about Caitlin. This incredible inability to deal with the facts and to state the obvious, it is astounding to me how Cathy Engelbert doesn't come out after the Marina Mabrey hit and say, that's unacceptable, the refs got it wrong. Okay, should have been kicked out then, you weren't, but now I'm...
The numbers don't lie. Since Clark's injury, WNBA viewership has collapsed. National TV audiences dropped from 1.81 million viewers per Fever game to just 847,000. That's a staggering 53% nosedive, a collapse that could cost the league millions. ESPN saw a 170% increase in WNBA viewership this season, all thanks to Caitlin Clark. ION saw 100% growth, but now they're staring down catastrophic losses, and it's all tied to one player. You have to scroll all the way down to no 15 on the list of most watched WNBA games to find one that doesn't feature Clark. That's how dominant her presence is. Her return game after injury, 2.2 million viewers with a peak of 2.8 million. The fans are telling you who they want to see. The league just refuses to listen.
When the mainstream sports media, particularly one with the kind of ideology behind it as the Washington Post, this is a sports media outlet that is certainly going to be more in line with the old WNBA fandom, which, when this kind of article drops, should worry Kathy Engelbert a great deal.
The officiating disaster is what ultimately drove this situation off the cliff. Caitlin Clark has been taking hits like a punching bag, and nobody's blowing the whistle. During a recent broadcast, WNBA legend Rebecca Lobo called out the refs on live television for missing one obvious foul after another. There's a grab, there's a hold, there's another grab, that's a foul, that's a foul. And still, the whistles stayed silent. Stephanie White, Clark's own coach, said after the Connecticut Sun game, everybody's getting better except the officials. She's not being dramatic, she's being honest. White even called the treatment of her team egregious and said the disrespect was unbelievable. When the coach is using words like that, it's not sour grapes, it's a cry for help.
The ball handler, there's a grab, there's a hold, there's another grab. I mean, all of those are fouls. Every single one of them. And here, that's a foul, and finally they call.
Since the referees can't or won't make the calls, it was left to Rebecca Lobo and her broadcast partner, Ryan Ruocco, who called it out themselves on ABC the other night during a replay that showed Dallas Wings guard J.J. Quinterly repeatedly going all karate on Clark with no whistle.
This wasn't some freak accident. Caitlin Clark's groin injury is the end result of months of physical abuse on the court. Dr. Lucas Seehofer, a kinesiology expert, pointed out that there have already been 141 injuries in a league with just 179 active players across only 44 games. That's outrageous. That's dangerous. That's the sign of a broken system. The refs, most of them aren't even full-time. They're part-timers splitting gigs with NCAA basketball. They're paid by the game, not trained for this level of play, and they're clearly unprepared for the speed and intensity Clark brings. The result? A league where your best player gets injured not because she's unlucky, but because no one stepped in to protect her.
In this case, they're calling out the WNBA and Kathy Engelbert. Why? Because of the officiating. The WNBA's officially got a real problem. Because one of the institutions that's used to taking care of the league and sheltering the league and worshiping the league's sensibilities, you've lost them.
Clark's value to the WNBA isn't just hype, it's hard revenue. Betting activity on Indiana Fever games dropped by 50% the moment Clark went down. Let that sink in. One player gets hurt, and the sports books collapse. You think Vegas doesn't know what she's worth? Meanwhile, Clark is everywhere in Indianapolis, on buildings, in the airport, on hotel windows. She's the face of this weekend's All-Star celebration. And now, she's not even suiting up. The optics are humiliating. The league built the event around her, and now she'll be watching from the sidelines while Sandy Brondello coaches her team without her star player.
Caitlin Clark released a statement earlier this afternoon. I'm so excited for Indy to host WNBA All-Star this weekend. I want to thank the Indianapolis host committee and all of the people that have put endless work in over the past year to put this event together. I know this will be the best All-Star yet. I am incredibly sad and disappointed to say I can't participate in the three-point contest or the All-Star game. I have to rest my body. I will still be at Gainbridge Fieldhouse for all the action, and I'm looking forward to helping Sandy coach our team to a win. Can't wait to see you all there.
If you think the damage stops here, think again. The league is staring down international pressure. With all this chaos and injury risk, how long until players like Clark start eyeing global leagues with better pay and better protection? CBA negotiations are hanging by a thread. How do you promise players better contracts and revenue sharing when the biggest revenue generator can't stay on the court? The players are angry, the fans are furious, and the NBA is watching very closely.
Ever been. The game is fast now. Things are happening quickly. Everybody's getting better, except the officials. So we got to find a way to remedy it. I mean, you've heard every coach talk about it, so I don't know what the answer is.
This is not a one-time mistake. It's a season-long failure. Caitlin Clark didn't miss a single game in college or during her rookie start, but under WNBA management, she's already missed multiple stints with leg, quad, and now groin injuries. Rachel Demita said it best, when injuries start jumping from quad to groin, something is wrong mechanically, and that something is how she's being officiated. The fans see it too. Online petitions are circulating. They're not calling for changes anymore. They're demanding accountability. And when fans turn into activists, the league has a serious problem on its hands.
Not only to the fans, not only to the people, not only to the league, but to Caitlin Clark. This was a big deal. In front of her home fans, this is the first All-Star Game in Indianapolis in league history.
This whole disaster could have been avoided with better refereeing, with stronger leadership, with real consequences for dirty hits and flagrant fouls. Instead, the WNBA let chaos masquerade as professional basketball. And now their golden goose is hurt and out of the game. Adam Silver is watching. And make no mistake, his comments weren't a show of concern. They were a warning. Protect your stars or lose the billions they bring in. Fix your officiating or lose your credibility. Support your players or watch your viewership implode. Caitlin Clark doesn't just play in the NBA. She's keeping it alive. And if Cathy Engelbert and the league don't start acting like it, they won't just lose a weekend. They'll lose everything. Like and subscribe to Spotlight WNBA for more truth, because someone has to say it.